Hey everyone, I wanted to do a short screencast on today's tech session, which was all about Google Sheets. So I will send this out to you as well, but we want to take a closer look. The link is right here, and that'll take you directly into Google Sheets, which I will show you how to get to in a second. So first of all, what is a Google Sheet? Google Sheet is basically an online spreadsheet. So very similar to Excel. However, it has all of the Google capabilities. So why would you want to use Google Sheets as opposed to Excel? Well, because you can edit and collaborate in teams and groups together. You can create one and have it sitting there in the cloud, which is really fantastic, or in your drive. So from there, you can gather all sorts of information and use the data in your STEM classrooms, which is really nice for analysis. It integrates really well with Google Classroom and Google Forms, as well as Canvas. And you can use the Sheets program to create charts and graphs. Performing calculations is key. You can use the program to help facilitate classroom discussions. And also, a lot of teachers use them for seating charts / behavior management. It's really nice, again, with that sharing capability, because you can share your information with a co-teacher or anyone that's needing particular information about a student or group of students within a classroom. So I do actually use that for myself in my classes as well. To get to Google Sheets, you can go in through your drive, and you're just going to hit New and then select Google Sheets, and you'll see it comes up just like a spreadsheet. So let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see here, I have some data that I plugged in. To name your Google Sheet, you can just click up here in the corner, you can name it, and you can see it says it's in my drive. So it'll automatically default to going in your drive. You can drag it to wherever you want to place it once it's in your drive, or you can create it within a folder. So when we look at this data, there's a couple of things that I want to show you. So just like any spreadsheet program, Google Sheets is intuitive. So for example, if you start to list a pattern of numbers like 1, 3, 5, and then you highlight the 3, and then you drag from the corner down, the pattern will continue. So this is really nice when you're thinking about some type of linear growth model, or you can even set it up so that we've got exponential growth. You can have the students analyze the patterns, and they can go on forever and ever. Now, the interesting thing here is that this kind of pattern just doesn't happen only with numbers. You can have it intuitively note things like months of the year. So watch this. So I'm going to highlight these 3 and again drag down, and you can see it automatically started filling in the rest of the days of the month. So you could do days of the week, any sort of pattern, it will recognize it and figure it out. So that's really, really helpful and useful, and you could come up with some type of an analysis for your students to do there. The other thing I really like is the idea of a classroom sharing a sheet and everyone inputting their data. And then you can all analyze as a class, or have the class come up with some conclusions based on the data. So that's how you get the computer to sort of intuit what numbers should come next within each cell, etc. Some other things to note. So when you highlight and then right click, it comes up with a lot of different options. Sometimes you want to just clear the cells. You would just delete them. You can insert rows, insert columns or cells. You can do cut and paste. And I'm actually just going to delete these cells right now. Let's see. Or clear them. Hold on, let's highlight. And I'm just going to delete. So if you just hit the delete button, it just clears them. And what I want to show you guys right now is how to make a table. So to make a table, you just have your students highlight the cells that you want to go into the table or the graph, and you would just click this Insert Chart button. Once that chart button is clicked, it's going to come up with a default chart editor. So in this little box over at the side, there's all sorts of different items that you can click on, including the type of graph. So this is really nice, and it would be a really good lesson to talk about what type of graph would best represent the data. It's not just a matter of clicking on anyone. Sometimes, it's better to figure out what would work best as far as sharing and showing data goes. So that would be a discussion that would be worthwhile having with your class. So you can see there's all these different types. Once you've picked a chart, you can always click these 3 little dots, which is a Google thing for anything Google, and you can have your students edit the chart. They can customize it. They can change the name. They can switch the rows to the columns, and the data range can even be changed, because sometimes it's not a matter of just what data is there. It might be just a matter of the first 2 columns as opposed to the first bunch. So apologies for this announcement. What else can I tell you guys? Other things to note. One of the reasons to use a Google Sheet is because of the complex calculations. There's this summation sign over here. Brings up some popular ones, but there's a whole bunch, including count, including setting up arrays, including breaking data in half, and there's just like the sky's the limit. So I would say definitely that's something that your students should know how to do. Let's say you wanted them to take the average of these. You would just hit the equal sign, and then it comes up with all sorts of formulas. So we're going to do that, and automatically it's going to take the average. So you can have that data rounded. You can do a formula within a formula, and so on and so forth. The other thing that's really helpful for students to know how to do is how to sort data. Sorting is really wonderful, especially when you have a whole bunch of data. So again, you can sort it. You can sort ranges. You can sort, however you want. But let's say we wanted to sort by, instead of by column B, we wanted to sort by column C instead. So, and also you can click this if there's a header row. So instead of sorting by this column, it's sorting by this column. You can set it so that it's got secondary sorts, and that would be something that I could go over with you one-to-one. But anyway, this is a little overview of Google Sheets, and I think as far as thinking analytically, having students have a visual to show data, having them work together to produce data, document what they're finding and analyzing it, the sky is the limit on Google Sheets. And let me show you something else. You can create tabs, so you can have multiple tabs. So in my Drive, I actually have, I actually have a few things that have like multiple tabs. So I actually probably shouldn't show that for confidentiality reasons for my students. But anyway, I think Google Sheets is a really useful tool. I think it's really good, especially in STEM classes or in any class for that matter. And please let me know if you have any questions and if I can help you to think about ways you can integrate this into your classroom. So thanks for listening. And again, I'm around to help any of you if you need any help. All right. Have a great afternoon. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.